Here's our next Fast Five, and it's going to cover the topic of probability. Now, there's not a ton of probability on your SAT test, but I have noticed a theme through a few of the practice tests I've looked at where it does show up. So they generally show up in terms of a table, which is good news because that organizes your data nicely. And this is a set of data of people, the results of people who took the bar exam. So took the review course versus did not take the review course, passed versus did not pass. So this feels like a conditional probability question. Probability at its heart is the number of successes over the total number of trials. Now, when you get a conditional probability question, that changes a little bit because the total number of trials is not necessarily every single thing in the data set. It's specifically looking at one part of the data set. So this question says, if I read it, what is the probability that a person chosen did not take the review course? Oh, I got to read a little better. All right, if one of the surveyed graduates who passed the bar exam is chosen at random, what's the probability that they did not take the review course? So this first part, if one of the surveyed graduates passed the bar exam, that's the given component of the probability. So they're claiming that under the condition that you talk to somebody who did pass the bar exam. So if I look at everybody who passed the bar exam, just these two categories right here, and that's a total of 25. So that's going to be my denominator. And then out of that data set, what's the probability that the person did not take the bar exam, or the review course, excuse me? That'd be 7 out of the 25. So that's our answer there. It's a tricky question because you do have to know about conditional probability and the order in which it appears. Back in Algebra 2, we used to give you like a very clear, look for the given. And there's a really nasty formula for conditional probability, but I don't teach it that way because it's weird. All right, so in a survey, 607 general surgeons and orthopedic surgeons indicate their major profession activity. The results are summarized in the table above. If one of the surgeons is selected at random, which of the following is closest to the probability that the selected surgeon is an orthopedic surgeon whose indicated profession activity is research? So this question differs from the previous one because it is not a conditional probability question. It does say that someone from this entire table is selected at random. So that tells me my denominator is going to be the 607. And then if I read real carefully, they want the probability that we choose somebody who is an orthopedic surgeon who is interested in research. So orthopedic surgeons interested in research are these 74 people right here. So big key difference in probability land for our SAT is, are you looking at the entire probability of the entire data set, or are you looking at conditional probability where you have to look at pieces? Now, I typed this in my calculator and it comes out to roughly 0.122. This is on the calculator section of the test, so good news there. You don't have to do any decimal division. All right, this is not a probability question, but it kind of is at its heart. So the polling agency surveyed 1,000 adults who were randomly selected in this very large city of theirs. And they asked the adults, are you satisfied with the air quality, or the air in the city? And out of these 1,000 people, 78% said that they were satisfied. Didn't mean to cross that off. 78% said they were satisfied. So now they're asking you if you could take this and extend it further to the population and see if you can make any claims. Now read very carefully in these, and it's one of those 1, 2, 3 questions, which I know sometimes you guys hate, but I kind of like them because if you were teeter-tottering on an answer and you noticed it didn't make sense for the answers they provided, then you can eliminate it. So let's keep going. Of the adults in the city, 78% are satisfied with the air quality of the city. So that one kind of gave me pause at first because I was like, well, that's kind of what that means. But it doesn't quite work that way. So if I keep reading, if another 1,000 adults selected at random from the city were surveyed, 78% of them would report they are satisfied. That is not at all true. It's just the 1,000 that were surveyed happened, 78% of them happened to say yes. And then number 3, if 1,000 adults were selected at random from a different city, 78% would say they are satisfied. Again, that is not a claim you can make. It's not even the same population. So since none of these say one only, I can eliminate that as a choice, and apparently none of them work. There you go.